This is How to Write a Thesis Statement for Unit 2, The Central Idea of Informational Text with Mrs. Anderson. When writing a thesis statement for a 5-paragraph essay, remember that your thesis statement is the central idea of an essay. It usually appears as the very last sentence of the first paragraph, or it could be the second to last sentence or near the end of the first introductory paragraph. It includes the topic of the essay and the author's claim. In a 5-paragraph essay, the thesis should have the 3 main points that the author makes as a claim. When creating a thematic-based thesis statement, first you select your topic, then decide what you want to say about that topic, and assert your claim by developing a 3-point thesis. If your topic is work, your theme is what is the purpose of work. An example thesis statement could be, generally, we work to support ourselves and our family. However, the purpose of work was distorted during the reign of Hitler due to blank, blank, and blank. Think of 3 ways that Hitler distorted the purpose of work. Think of the Ghetto Geld, the Nuremberg race laws, the work camps, also known as concentration camps, and how he forced them to work without pay, without reward, without food, without water. Think about how the purpose of work was distorted by his actions. If your topic is survival, and your theme is what does it mean to be a survivor, an example thesis statement could be, the characteristics of a survivor includes blank, blank, and blank. Helga was able to prove this throughout the duration of the war. So, survival includes many things. It can include being hopeful. It can include being determined. Think about ways that Helga demonstrated characteristics of a survivor in her diary. And the last one, if you are doing the topic of race and your theme is, in what way is race a social construct and how did that enable Hitler's agenda? An example thesis statement could be, race is socially constructed when we blank, blank, and blank. For this section, you'll want to think about the movie The Wave, how Mr. Ross socially constructed a race in his classroom. And what I mean by social construct, to construct something, like if you're constructing a building, you're actually creating it, right? You're building it up. And it's the same with race. It is built up or created in a social context. And the way we do this, the way Mr. Ross did it in his classroom, is he created a group. He created this group called The Wave. We can also consider that group a race. And then he created organizational structure and supports for that group. He had a slogan, a membership card, a name. All these things went into gaining support for this group. And then he also created and defined who the cultural others were. If you did not go along with his class or the group, you had to go to the library and you eventually failed that term. So Hitler did the same exact thing. He socially constructed a race. He created the Aryan nation. He gained support for that through the Nazi organization and the laws that he created. And then finally, he defined and created cultural others, Jewish people, homosexuals. He also included gypsies. Black people was included in that. Anyone who was disabled was included as a cultural other. So this is how race was socially constructed. Your background information. You are to open up your essay with background and historical context information. This introduces the reader to a topic in a way that assumes the reader is unfamiliar with the topic as a whole. So if your topic is work and your theme is what is the purpose of work, an example could be, during the reign of Adolf Hitler, concentration camps were built to house Jewish people and cultural others. The implied purpose was to create a new city in which people could work and continue their lives. This was not the case. Generally, we worked to support ourselves and our families. However, the purpose of work during this time was distorted due to blank, blank, and blank. So here we have 2 or 3 sentences coming right before the final thesis statement, and they just introduce the reader to Hitler, the concentration camps, and how that distorted the purpose of work. You don't really need any more than 4 sentences. You don't want to be too meaty here because you are going to put the bulk of all of this information into your body paragraphs. For the topic survival in your theme, what does it mean to be a survivor? An example could be, Helga's diary, written during World War II while she was in a concentration camp, details how she survived. In Helga's diary, she demonstrates the meaning of survival in many ways. The characteristics of a survivor include blank, blank, and blank. Helga was able to prove this throughout the duration of the war. Here's an example of where your thesis statement is not the very, very last sentence. It's actually the second to last sentence. but it is at the end of the introductory paragraph. So you can, for this particular topic, include almost anything about Helga. You can include her birth date, the fact that she was born and raised in Prague and she still lives there today. You can include that she survived World War II. Just don't include too much information because, again, you want to put the bulk of your information in the body paragraphs. So up to 4 sentences, 2 to 4 sentences, that works. And then your final sentence would be your thesis statement. All right, so the next topic is race. And if you're doing a theme, in what ways race a social construct and how did that enable Hitler's agenda? You're going to talk about Adolf Hitler. So introduce the reader to this person. Adolf Hitler rose to power by promoting a racist agenda based on an Aryan nation, a group he created. All non-Aryans became cultural others to be exterminated. Race is socially constructed when we blank, blank, and blank. So this just gives the reader a little bit of an idea of who Adolf Hitler is and what exactly he did and what you're going to talk about. Again, the bulk of the information about Hitler should be in your body paragraphs. 2 to 4 sentences here is perfect. So now you have your background information and your thesis statement. Once you have that completed, your whole first paragraph is done. Some tips to remember. Your thesis statement should always be concise. 3 main points succinctly put. So go back and look at it now. Do you have 3 points? Blank, blank, and blank. Are they filled in properly? And do they all connect to your topic and theme? If so, you may move forward. Your thesis should also have a topic in your claim about the topic. It should be something that you are definitely proving by researching and gaining evidence to verify that what you are stating is the truth. Your thesis is the main idea of the essay. It always appears in the first paragraph, preferably the last sentence in the first paragraph. It's always near the end. If it's not the exact last sentence, second to last sentence, or somewhere at the end of the first paragraph is fine. You may select one of the topics and example themes in your study guide for your thesis statement. Do not reinvent the wheel. We have covered a lot of information in Unit 2, and it's all in your study guide, so refer to it for those 3 thesis statements.